Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first podcast for all you digital nomads over 50. I'm Norm Bauer, and I'm going to be your host today. And since I am over 50, I've been a nomad since 2019. This topic of travel and nomadism is very near and dear to my heart. Now, most of you who are watching and or listening, you're members of the Facebook group called Digital Nomads Over 50, and you've probably been as impressed as I have been over the truly incredible growth we've seen in just a short time. When I started not all that many months ago, we were somewhere around 14, 15,000 members, and now we're pushing 50,000. So in honor of hitting our 50,000th member, who remains to be seen, it's a significant milestone for sure. And I thought it was time that we introduce our founder, Patricia Pasquini, to you, so she can share a little bit about herself, about the group, and more importantly, some of the big plans that are planned for the future, because nothing ever stays stagnant, including the digital nomad empire. So, Patricia, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you. I like the introduction. It's very good.
Well, thank you. It's justified for you because you truly are a guest of honor. So, for those people who are new to the group and maybe they've seen your responses, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and most importantly, you at one time made a decision to become a digital nomad and you were over 50, and we want to find out what prompted that. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and about where you're from and how long you've been on the road.
Okay, very good that you don't ask my age. This is very polite.
We'll get to that.
I won't. Well, I'm Patricia. My nickname is Pato, so it's easiest to remember Pato. The Patricias in my country, yes, they are called Pato. I left Argentina in 2019 in March. I had a restaurant, a bar, so I work in the night because in the night was very crowd, full of people, so it was my shift. I
Sure.
used to go to sleep at 7 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so it was not healthy. I was getting very bad habits. So my life was absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
The money was not enough because I paid taxes and the salary. So one day I was looking at the chimney in my room that it was broken. And when I asked for a budget, I realized that I couldn't pay for that. So I said, I'm working
and you were
14.
and you were in Argentina at the time, which is not what I would call a wealthy nation. It's not really a third world country, but it's certainly impoverished and challenged economically. So for you to make a living in a country in that environment, no matter what you did, you still kind of had one hand tied behind your back. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it was. So that's why I sell. I closed the restaurant. I sold the things that I could sell. I just, after paying the salaries and you know that the compensation for the employees, I left $2,500
Wow.
and a ticket one way because if I was waiting to save more money, I could never move from my country because we don't have in Argentina, we don't have the possibility to save money. It's very hard for us.
Yeah.
You can do it with the salary. So it was a decision. It's
Yeah.
just make your mind. And I said, okay, I go maybe 6 months deep in my heart. Of course, I was expecting 1 year
Yeah.
abroad and never 6 years, almost seven, like
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah.
now. Yes,
And of
that's
course, and
it.
of and of course, you left almost the same time as us. We left in February of 2019, and we had one good full year before COVID, of course, changed everything. And obviously, it changed it for you and for a lot of other people who are watching right
Of
now or
course.
listening right now. And for those of you who started after COVID, it's just totally different than it was prior to. So, out of all the people who are in the Facebook group of Digital Nomads Over 50, um, you probably get a lot of the same questions over and over and again. What do you think are some of the top questions that people ask? That's one thing that I ask you. And do you see any specific country or countries that a lot of the people come from? Because I'm guessing you probably have dozens and dozens of countries represented.
US, no, United States, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, UK.
Yeah.
Yes. And then uh, few from Spain, some places in Europe, Latin America, just a few. Well, people in Latin America is not able to travel. These
Yeah.
are the people who are more interested in online shops. Okay,
Oh,
and the questions depends if they are already a digital nomad.
yeah.
The questions are about visa, VPN, eSIM card, or I don't know, the good place or some uh, accommodations. But the people, the wannabes digital nomads, the more concern is to get a job.
Yeah.
How we do that?
Yeah.
How we get a job? No scammers, avoid the scammers, or the skills. They don't feel confident. They are waiting, I don't know what, because they know what they want to do, but they don't know how to do it.
Yes, of course.
And in fact, one of the challenge in the group was in the beginning to mix these two words. In fact, I received so many complaints, Norm, in the beginning, because the digital nomads, they were tired of answering the same questions over and over.
Totally get it. Totally get it. And we had the
Yes,
same questions when we first started.
and a lot of them, they left
Yeah.
the group. I lost the group, but
Oh,
I'm so stubborn. You don't know
yeah.
me much, Norm, but I'm very stubborn. So when I have a goal, I go there. I
Right
said,
on.
we have to learn from each other. And
Yeah.
now we found a balance
Okay,
because
good.
we have new digital nomads, so they are in charge to
Yeah.
answer the questions that we, the old
Yeah.
members of the group, are tired to answer.
You
Yes,
know,
we're doing
w-
well, I think.
we've been on the road, my wife and I, for 6 years, and I really never traveled internationally till about 8 years ago. And I was that naive, inexperienced person who asked the questions that now we look at and we go, someone else is asking that same question, but we have to be patient. I know I am speaking for myself when I see the same questions over and over again, and a lot of these answers
I
are
know.
available on your site. You have a great collection of special reports, and all they got to do is put in a keyword and you can look up eSIMs, you can look up visas. And
Mhm.
the truth is that when someone says, well, what's involved with getting a visa? Well, it depends on what country it is, it depends on what
Of
passport you
course.
hold. So every situation is a little bit different. So let's talk about the group. So you've grown to 50,000 members in a short period of time, and I'm sure that you've asked yourself the same question I'm going to ask you. How did this all
Very short.
happen? How did this all happen? I mean, to what do you attribute this?
Well, I don't know. I opened the group 1 year or 2 years ago and never had nothing happened for a long time until November, December, last December,
Okay. Okay.
2023. Uh, but you know what I learned is that you need to be consistent and answer the questions and
Yes.
post every day,
Yes.
things that I didn't do before.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe before I post once a
Right.
week, and this is not possible. Now I post 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I get information for the nomads. I get information for the wannabes.
Right.
So it's a work. It's a really hard work. But if you are consistent with this, it start growing. It's not magic,
It
but it
is not magic,
happens.
but it is consistent, and
I,
it is hard work.
I can say one moment. Many people ask me how, because this happened in 6 months.
Yeah.
In January we were 4,000.
Wow. Wow. So we're talking about
Yes,
basically 9 months time you've grown from
yes,
4,000 to
yes.
50,000. One of the things
Yes.
that drew me to you is that I noticed that when someone asks a question, you are like right there responding. You are amazingly on top of the questions that come in, and you're very interactive, you're very involved and all that. How do you do your regular job, and what is the regular job that you do that you probably don't have enough time for?
Well, I'm always connected. This is, and
Yeah.
also I know that if you want to keep growing, you need
Yeah.
to answer the questions. And besides, as many wannabes digital nomads ask the same question,
Yeah.
when I detect that question, I'm the first to answer. Okay, look into the guides, look into the blog.
Right.
So I try not to be a burden for the digital nomad. So I'm the
Right,
first to answer. Then, if other digital nomads want to answer to him or her, it's okay.
right.
But I'm the first to answer. Yes, I'm always connected. I have two moderators. We are only two,
Mm,
Vanina and Tony. They are great.
hmm.
Um, they make the moderation to receive the members and decline post. The
Right.
Facebook assistant that take care of the links and he detects something. But you need to be connected. I'm a Spanish teacher and I run in a school, the Spanish area in China. So I
Oh,
made a
that's
lot
your
of
job.
things.
Very cool.
Yes, this is my job. But I'm connected. Now I have two mobiles. So I'm speaking with you and I'm checking. I
Yeah,
multitask.
yeah. Well, you have to
Even
be. You have to be.
even at my age,
Yeah,
that I won't tell you, I
yeah.
multitask.
Okay. I'm not going to ask your age because it's considered rude to do that, and I don't want to. I don't want to be rude. You
Okay, I
know.
will say 66.
Oh, well, Mazel Tov. Congratulations. I'm still a few years ahead of you.
So sometimes I wonder why I open a group that is over 50 and not over 60.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. When I started, all right. So I'll do a little pitch for me. So I have a group called Travel Younger, and I was motivated by the younger people, the millennials. When I went to Europe in 2015 for the first time, really, I was just blown away by how effortless people move, especially the young people between 18 and say 30. They're going
Okay.
in and out of trains and in and out of buses, and they've got their headsets on and they're exchanging currency and they're using I mean, and I'm like, I'm 62 years old, and I felt like the proverbial deer in the headlight. And so when I came back from Europe after 3 weeks, I said, I need to learn how to travel like the millennials, how to travel like the young
Yes,
people, because they
of
set a
course.
really great example. So over the next
Ah,
2 years,
but sorry, I interrupt you.
please.
You know how many people under 40 they want to join our group and I have to decline because
Yeah.
you say we have to learn from them, but they want to learn how these old people do. They are
Well,
very concerned about how we do.
I think that they admire us because they probably
I
have
think,
parents who they look to as being
yes,
quote unquote old, and who maybe their parents would never think about doing something like this. I mean, I've got
yes,
friends in the US, you've got friends all over the world who they look to people like us as nomads and they think that we're crazy. How can you live
yes,
with just a couple of suitcases or a couple of backpacks? How can you live without a car? How can you live without this? How can you live without that? But you have probably learned, as have most of the people who are watching or listening right now, you really don't need that much to be happy. I was watching a video
yeah.
this morning that Kathleen shared with me, and this young boy, 8, 10 years old, he says, just be, just be, and that is the key to happiness. And so we who live on the road, whether we are
Yes,
looking for a specific country to live in or a specific city to live on, or whether we move every week or every month or every however often it is, everyone has to find their own cadence, their own pace of what makes them happy. For us, we find that the 90-day limitation, which is very common in many places, is not a big limitation to us because we both get a little bit restless. My wife and I are like, we're going to leave in 3 months. Where are we going to go now? And so normally we plan 6, 9 months down the road. I
well,
specifically want to talk about some of the changes you're making to the site because
okay,
as a business owner for years, it's really about giving people what they want and giving people what they need. And sometimes they don't even realize what they need, but they know what they
mm-hmm.
want. And the level of service is always a challenge. So you were in the process of launching a campaign through a platform called Patreon. So I want you to tell everyone what the Patreon campaign is all about, how they can get involved, and why they should get
Okay.
involved. I mean, can we get more of Patricia? Because we want more. We want more, you know?
Well, there are many reasons why I created Patreon. The first one is because I spend a lot of hours developing content for the post, the blogs, thinking ideas,
Sure.
jokes, answering the comments. And I have two moderators, and we all do for free. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, we need a
Yeah. Yeah.
conversation.
It's not fair.
So we I'll open a membership for the people who want to support the group.
Good
Okay,
for
that
you.
we still spend these hours doing this. But also, I created two other memberships with more content, and here you can,
Cool.
with guides, but very detailed information. Not only like a blog, it's more extended and detailed
How
information of
to.
travels with experience, not, for example, a country's guide that you can buy in a travel
Right.
agency.
Right.
It's, with our eyes, with our experience. That's things that nobody will tell you about the country. I made one from Buenos Aires. This is the first one because I know very well Buenos Aires.
Sure.
And for example, about taxes or a lot of guys for wannabes, digital nomads, and the niche, the skills, everything. And we will have also free content like checklist, templates. There are many, many things that we will offer in the memberships. And you
Nice.
have three memberships and they can choose. And well, you are a member of the group. I didn't know you before, but you always answer the questions, the answer the post. You post very good information. And
Thank
once
you.
you sent me a podcast, and I was impressed with the podcast, you and your wife, Kathleen.
Hmm.
So that's why I contact you and I said, okay, do you want to be part of this?
Yeah.
Because I can't do it by myself. To have a group, to have a Patreon, is
Yes.
a lot of material that we have to create. Of
Yes.
course, and everybody can notice your English is very good and better than mine.
And so
So
is yours,
this
by the
is
way. You're
so
don't feel self-conscious. Your English is very good, Patricia.
so this is an advantage for writing because for me to write a blog is like one
Yeah.
week. So maybe I think that we can make a good team and we can offer what people deserve, good quality, and that's
So
all.
I want to address something. We live in a world where there's so much available for free. The internet has changed everything, and it's certainly made our world of digital nomadism a reality. I mean, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you couldn't even come close to living this kind of life with any degree of simplicity or ease. But unfortunately, the internet and all the millions, tens of millions, billions of sites out there, there's so much available for free. Some of
Yes.
it's good, most of it's fluff, a lot of it's garbage. And the
Mhm.
reality of it is that we as people have gotten to the point of where unless it's free, we don't want to pay for it. And I find myself guilty of that myself, but I have found over the years that if I truly want something of value, it's worth me spending a few bucks to get it. I'm not going to spend, $2,000 on a course that I may or may not benefit from. But when it comes to ongoing membership, when it comes to hand holding, when it comes to personal involvement and engagement, I am prepared and willing and have done that. And that's the pitch that I want to make to your benefit. For those of you who are listening, Patricia is telling us about her Patreon account, and she hasn't even told us how much it is, but it's probably very reasonable. But there's a benefit to you. It's not just getting free stuff out there and not appreciating it. If you want something, put a little skin in the game, people, and just
Yes.
pay for her time.
And I think that is also about trust. People know me. People
Yeah.
will know you.
Oh yeah.
We are the face of a community. It's
Very
not
much.
only a
Yeah.
group, it's a
Yeah.
community.
Right.
Okay, so we will offer Zoom meetings, a chat, so people can connect each other. It's amazing how people is meeting around the world and they post the photos.
Yeah.
For example, here in Joaquin, I had a meeting with 8 members of the group. They
Wow.
were 6 were digital nomads, and the other 2 they were not. And one of them read my blog about Joaquin, and he became interested, and he came here to visit.
Oh
He's
yeah.
from New Zealand,
Oh
so it's like
yeah.
we are a community of people. Now, yes, of course you can get things for free, but none
We don't
help
get
us.
you. Right.
And you know what? This is a very good business model.
Yeah.
Okay, when people ask me, how do you sustain your life? How you do your money? Okay,
Sure.
I start with a group. I have a goal, an objective. So you go there and you can get it.
So let's talk
Now
about
the results, we don't know the results. Maybe it's a failure or maybe it's a great success. Depends on the people. Let's see.
let's talk about when you are officially unveiling your Patreon account and tell us about
I
the
think
three
that
levels.
the second week of September will be
Second week of
ready.
September. Awesome. And
Yes, and they have three.
obviously, if you are listening to this podcast, you'll get notification of it. So tell us about how people can get involved and what are the price points.
The prices, they have three prices. That is free for the support membership. Then they have one
Three,
in the
three
middle,
dollars, $3
$3.
a month. Okay.
Yes.
That's a no-brainer. That's a
It's very
no-brainer.
affordable.
Right on.
Okay. And then one in the middle for $6 that they
Good
have a
show.
more advantage. And the highest, the top 10 is $10
All right.
and includes a discount in the guides, the chat, the Zoom meetings, and they have many,
Time
many
out, time out.
benefits.
Zoom meetings. So I want to talk about that
Yes,
because this is something that I do as well through
yes,
our Travel Younger group is that I offer personal one-on-one meetings with people. And I've done it for years. My wife and I've done it for years for free. And we do it for fun because we love supporting and helping people. But the fact that when someone becomes one of your Patreon subscribers for $10 a month, they get to have a Zoom call with you, and I may be involved or not. We'll see what happens with that. But the
yes.
bottom line is that you get a chance to pick the brain of someone here, Patricia, who has 6 years on the road. I've got 6 years on the road. We don't have every answer in the world, but we have a lot of answers, and the answers we don't know, we know how to find those answers or who to ask for those answers. So that's the beauty is that a lot of people like to do things on their own, and they try and they learn and they fail, and that's what we did at first. We didn't know what we didn't know, and the digital community was not quite so large 6 years ago, but now it's kind of like there's no reason to do things wrong. There's no reason to mix up your visa
Of
regulations. There's
course.
no
Hmm.
reason to do things by trial and error when you've got people there who have already done it or have known people who have done it the right way. So I think that your Patreon platform is a winner for sure, and I would encourage all of
I
you who
think
are
it
listening
will.
to.
I missed something. We will
Oh,
have a category that is to answer questions and answers by email.
okay,
So depends on the membership. Is once a week or
okay,
sometimes it's two a week. We are studying
okay.
this, but because I think that it will be a very good advantage for our members. Yes, of
Well,
course.
we're gonna put together a little list, ladies and gentlemen, of what the levels are and what they consist of and how you get started and so forth and so on. Patricia, I want to go ahead and wrap this up because everyone who's watching has a finite, attention span, and we all have lives to live. Even though many of us are retired or semi-retired, we still have obligations and we have time commitments and everything. So, in closing, is there anything that we haven't discussed that you want to leave as a parting shot?
No, I just want to thank everybody,
Awesome.
all the members. Oh, they make my day. I
Yeah,
received so good feedbacks.
yeah,
I'm very proud of the group, and I
yeah.
want to keep growing in quality, not only in quantity. And I want to say thank you for everybody. That's all.
So at 50,000 members now, what do you think? You think we'll hit six digits by the end of the year? 100,000 members?
And I hope so. I'm kind of optimistic, but I don't know. I don't know. We're
Well,
doing very well. I'm very happy.
I,
Yes.
I I read some demographics of how many quote unquote nomads there are out there, digital of all ages, and it was somewhere between 3 and 5 million worldwide.
Wow.
So
Okay, here
there's a
we
lot
go.
there's a lot of people who don't have a set home. They live life on the road, they work on the road, or they're retired on the road, and sometimes they stay for a few months, sometimes they stay for a few weeks, sometimes they stay for longer and everything. So the world is flat. That's what the expression is
Mhm.
that everyone is on an equal platform, and whether you come from Argentina, or whether you come from America like me, or whether you come from New Zealand or England or Germany or any other country in the world, you can live life on the road, and you can live on the road
Absolutely.
with a lot more simplicity than sometimes I think that you think. And the biggest obstacle is right there. It's right there, guys. It's in your head. It's the fear thing. So don't let fear stop you. Go out and experience life, get a great education from people like Patricia and myself and all the other nomads out there. And Patricia, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your time
Okay.
in Thailand, and we will talk again soon.
Okay, and thank you very much, Norm, for your support. It's very important for me. You know.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
It's
very
been a
much.
pleasure.
You and Kathleen. Bye.
This is Norm Bauer with Travel Younger signing off, and we'll catch you again soon.